pressure. The definition of pressure. Now see, suppose we apply pressure, suppose this is the ball. Suppose this is the ball. If we push this ball, the pressure is applied here. The pressure is applied here. Now then what is the pressure? Pressure is, what is the definition of pressure? Pressure is force per unit area. Force per unit area, it is called as pressure. Now pressure is denoted by P, force is denoted by F, and area is denoted by A. Here P is pressure, then F is force, A is area. A is area. Pressure is defined as, it is force per unit area. P is equal to F divided by A. F divided by A. This pressure, it is scalar quantity. Pressure is scalar quantity. It is scalar quantity. Now see, the P is equal to F upon A, that is SI unit of pressure. SI unit of pressure. Now see, it is suppose 1 Pascal, or we can say force is measured in terms of Newton. Area is measured in terms of meter square. Therefore, pressure, SI unit of pressure, it is Newton per meter square. It can be written as Newton meter raised to 2. This 1 Newton per meter square, it is also called as 1 Pascal. It is also called as 1 Pascal. There are various units for this pressure, that is hectopascal, millipascal, etc. Now we study here, or we can say that 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Now we see different types of pressure. Or the examples of pressure. Suppose we consider 2 stools. Suppose these are the 2 stools, and suppose we kept the weights on it. Suppose these weights are separated, then this scale cannot be bent. Then suppose we consider these are the 2 scales, or if weights are added here, the scale can be bent. Now we perform the practical here. See, खाली घे. दिसणार नाही. See, suppose these are the weights. Suppose consider they are kept at equal distance. The scale cannot bend. The scale cannot bend. We can say that there is a pressure or area pressure and there is a relation between pressure and area. Now suppose the area is reduced. Area is reduced, the scale is bent. The scale is bent. That is, we can say that P is equal to force per unit area. That is, F is equal to P into A. Suppose there are two cases, P1, A1 is equal to P2, A2. That is, pressure is increased, area is decreased. Pressure is decreased, area is increased. This is the relation between these pressure. Now we consider, suppose we consider the example of liquid. Suppose this is the bottle, fill up with a liquid. Consider a bottle, fill up with water, fill up with liquid. Now there are bore the 3 holes at different height. Now suppose these are the liquid. This is, the pressure is greater at the lower level, then at middle level, and this is the last level. That is, we can say that as depth increases, pressure increases. See the example. Suppose this is bottle, bore 3 holes. Now this is at depth, this is middle, this is at higher level. Now you know, this is the daily example. The water, there is no pressure, there is a low pressure. The pressure is middle here, and pressure here is large pressure at the bottom. That is, we can say that as the depth increases, pressure increases. Now we consider the pressure, that is atmospheric pressure. Next type of pressure, that is atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. Now consider, this is suppose earth, and the air above the earth, and due to air there is a pressure created on the surrounding of the air, and it is called as atmospheric pressure. This is called as atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. See, the air above the earth's surface, due to this there is a pressure surrounding the earth's surface, and this pressure, it is called as atmospheric pressure. The pressure it is from 60 km from the ground surface. The atmospheric pressure, it is 60 km from the surface above the surface of earth, and the pressure is called as atmospheric pressure. There are different layers, but we cannot study about it. We only see the atmospheric pressure. What is the atmospheric pressure? The air around the earth, it is called as atmospheric pressure. Now there is a topic, that is force of friction. The force of friction remaining in middle stage, that is force of friction. Force of friction. See, Here, what is the friction? See, this is the one object, one surface. This is the another surface, and there is the opposition of relative motion between the two objects, and it is called as friction, and the force is called as force of friction. Now in this case, see, suppose this is the block, wooden block kept here, the string is attached to this wooden block, another end of the string is attached to the pan. If we apply the force here, if we apply the force, then what happens? See, if we apply the force in the pan, and the force, the block can be moved, the block can be moved, and this is called as, this is the example of friction. This is the example of friction. There are different type of friction, that is static friction, kinetic friction, rolling friction, etc. Here we can see only friction, that is there is a opposition of relative motion between two objects. It is called as friction, and the friction, it is due to, now see, there are different examples. Suppose we walk here, I can walk here, and it is the example of friction. It is the example of friction. If there is no friction, if there is no force of friction, we cannot walk, we can sleep. That is, this is the example of force of friction. Now we consider the gravitation. We study the gravitation.